Hey folks, I have here a Trijicon ACOG. This is the TA31RCO A4CP model. This is the Marine Corps model. Marine Corps Rifle Combat Optic 4x32. I've had this for a few months now on T&E. Had it sent to me by Trijicon for a article I was doing, and it's time to send it back. So I wanted to do a quick review of it. I've really enjoyed having it, and I hate to send it back. I just can't afford to buy it. This one here comes with a kill flash. Which comes off, and I'm going to take it off here for this review. It's held on there pretty good by this rubber band here. Let's see if I can get it off. There we go. For those of you who haven't seen a kill flash, there it is. Comes with a scope cover. Summary, operator's manual. There's the scope coat packaging, and has this mount it comes with. It's for mounting on a flat top. I apologize for all the sound effects that are going on. I'm fighting a cold. So this is the scope. Now, this thing here is legendary in the world of combat optics. This is I'm going to say it's the end-all, be-all. This is the platinum standard right here. And it specializes in toughness. This thing here is, I don't want to say indestructible, but put it this way, if this is attached to your rifle, there is nothing that can happen that will break this scope that won't destroy your rifle anyway. So if your rifle can make it through it, this scope will make it through it. And I'll even go a little bit further and say this possibly is a little bit tougher than the scope, or excuse me, than the rifle. It's built extremely sturdy. I've become a huge fan of it. Like I said, I do wish I could keep it. So let me go over some of the specs here real quick. Magnification, like I said, is 4 times. The objective is 32. It does have a bullet drop compensator on it. The length is 5.8 inches. It weighs 9.9 ounces. And it's illuminated by fiber optics and tritium. The reticle pattern is the chevron with a target reference system. The color on this one is red. On the day reticle, night reticle is also red, and what they differentiate, the nighttime is the tritium, and the daytime is low light is the fiber optic. I really found it as 1.5 inches. Not quite as generous as some of the other scopes on the market, but still good enough. Works. It's a good eye relief. Exit pupil is 8. Field of view in degrees is 7. Field of view at 100 yards is 36.8 feet. Adjustment in clicks at 100 yards is 2 per inch. Mount is a TA51 mount, and it's for the flat top. The housing material is forged aluminum. It's like I said, it's an extremely tough unit, and this has been dropped. I had it on my rifle. It wasn't me that dropped it. I don't drop my rifles, or I don't make a habit of it. It did get dropped, and not even a scuff mark on it. My favorite thing about this, aside from the toughness, the thing for me that I really, really, really like about Trijicons in general, but specifically the ACOG, is that there's no battery used in this. This is the ultimate in crap hits the fan scenarios, Armageddon scenarios, all you preppers out there, all you guys, if you're a hunter, if you're in home defense, whatever you're using this for, there's no batteries. You're not going to pick up your rifle and the battery's dead. And you'll never have to worry about putting a new battery in it because it's fiber optic. And the tritium lasts for, I don't have it in front of me, but I know it's a very, very long time. So you never have to worry about this not having a powered reticle. And for me, that's a huge factor. And like I said, that is one thing that sets the Trijicon apart from everybody else. Now, I did have a minor inconvenience with it, and it wasn't a huge thing because I was still able to see the reticle, but I did have an issue when I sit in a hunting blind and it's a little bit dark and it's bright outside, or if I'm looking at you know, like a snow or whatever, it is a little bit hard to see the reticle. Now the reticle itself, it shows up, if I were to hold it up against snow, obviously you can see the red, but if there's snow on the ground but you're looking up, not directly at the snow, but it's, I guess what I'm saying is the glare from the snow and the light outside does make it a little bit hard to see. But like I said, it's not a huge issue. And I know that's one of the knocks some of the combatants had, is if you're in a dark room and it's really bright outside, it does make it a little bit hard to see. But you can, for my purposes, for hunting, you can still see it. And I'll say that my primary use of this while I had it was hunting. It was a hunting article I was writing. And I have used this to kill, I used it for a wild hog down in Texas. And it works superbly. Now, I did find, and this is my fault, I took a deer hunting last month and I was shooting a 6.8 SPC, which I also used for the hog. I had it on an ambush 6.8 rifle, AR rifle. When I was hunting the hog, I had it lined up, put the reticle on there perfectly as you're supposed to. With the deer, I made a mistake because I'm still not, you know, I'm not quite used to the reticle on there. I'm used to crosshairs. This has the chevron. You're supposed to put the very tip of the chevron on the where you want to hit. With the deer, I actually centered the reticle on the deer, and it was a doe. If she was a distance off, it probably wouldn't have been an issue. Problem was, she was only like 40 feet away. She was really close, and by putting that reticle on her, I sent a bullet right over her back. Didn't even hit her. It's the first time in my life I have missed the vitals on an animal I was hunting. I've never even missed the vitals before, let alone missed an entire animal. So that's just kind of a word of advice on this is practice, 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 and make sure you're used to the chevron reticle on here. You just want the very top tip on the item, on the vitals, otherwise you're going to miss. And with the hog, I remembered it with the, every time I've been in the range, I've practiced it, I've done it, but on this day, I was raising it up quick, it was a fast shot, and I mislined it up. So, and you know, that's not a knock on the ACOG, that's completely my fault. The retail on this is $16.45. You're not going to find a lot of price variance around, whether you look at the Trijicon site or if you go to a store or if you go online. They pretty much keep a tight control on the prices. It's kind of like one of those things, like with a lot of guns and stuff like that. You're not going to see a lot of price variance out there. So if you find anything cheaper than $16.45, you should jump on it. But like I said, you probably won't. One of the other things I really like about this ACOG, and you see it in a lot of the Trijicons, depending on the reticle, is that it has the BAC, the Binding Aiming Concept. And what that is you shoot with both eyes open. And what it does, the eyeball that you're looking through the scope with, it's going to see the reticle. The reticle is going to be really bright. However, if you're moving or if the object is moving, the object is going to be a little bit blurry as you look through the scope. However, the other eye that's not looking through the scope, the object is going to be crystal clear. So what it does, the BAC, is that as you're putting the sights onto the object, your eyes combine the image, and what you end up seeing is a clear object with a bright reticle on it. You don't see the fuzzy object. So that really helps in how fast you can pick up targets, how fast you can acquire the target. And Trijicon has put a lot of, if you go to their website, they've put a lot of research into the eyes and how they work, and I think the bind and aiming concept is a really cool concept, and I really like it. I have a one of my other Trijicon scopes. It's a hunting scope, and that one has a standard crosshair reticle, which does not use the BAC, and I wish it did, because I think it's a really cool concept that they discovered. So I'm going to let you go. I won't keep you any longer. Pretty much covered everything, and like I said, it's a really high quality optic, and I would recommend it. Yes, it is a little bit pricey. I would say if you can afford it though, go ahead and look into it. It is a excellent scope. If you have any questions about it, let me know. Semper Fi. Alright, now for me, looking through a scope through the camera never works out as good as I want, but here is the ACOG looking through my video camera, and this here is with the Killjoy, the kill flash on it. And here it is without the kill flash on it. There's not a lot of difference during the day. You don't really notice it that much during the day. It's mostly just at night. You can get a good look at the pattern there. Alright, now I'm going to cover up, as you see I just did there, I'm covering up the fiber optic right now. So this is kind of similar to what it would look like if you were inside of a dark building looking out into the sunlight. You don't see the red, but if you have a light colored background you can still see the reticle. Now I got it off again. Now you can see the reticle. Here's a view indoors. It's daylight out, moderately lit, pretty bright in the house. And yes, it is Christmas time, and that's what happens to my deer every Christmas. He gets humiliated with tinsel. I wanted to zoom in here and show you the reticle. And this is kind of hard to, like I said, this is really hard. If any of you have ever done this before, you know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to get your scope lined up with the camera, but that's the chevron reticle right there. Now you'll notice on this one, let me zoom in here again. This is about what it looks like. This is what the reticle looks like if you're looking at it with your eyes. When I zoom out on the camera, the reticle is a lot smaller. This actually is kind of what it's like first person. So as you'll see, now there is a glare, and I can't get that out of this camera for some reason, but you'll see the reticle is pretty sharp, and it is a little bit, there's a halo effect, that's the camera, but the reticle is pretty sharp and the deer is blurry. If you were looking with two eyes, you would see that the deer is clear, So you would see that clear reticle superimposed over the deer, and that's that BAC, the bind-in aiming concept that I was talking about before. It's kind of hard to simulate that with a camera, but that's kind of similar to what you would see minus the glare and the halo effect.